Are we close to having stagflation?
Yeah, we are in stagflation.
We are. Stagflation is simply where, you have inflation, and yet at the same time, you have high unemployment.
Yeah, you have economic weakness.
Hello guys, welcome back to Christian Finance for your almost daily financial content. And today, as seen from the intro, we'll be focusing on the opinion of one of the most influential investors ever, and that is Ray Dalio. He's one of the top 3 richest investors of all time, current net worth of $20 billion. And almost every seasoned investor respects his opinion to the highest degree. After the reaction, I'll go and tell you guys my take on everything and how I believe we're going to be moving in the short to midterm.
Are we close to having stagflation?
Yeah, we are in stagflation.
We are. Stagflation is simply where, you have inflation, and yet at the same time, you have high unemployment.
Yeah, you have economic weakness.
Right.
In other words, you have a stagnant economy. Essentially means
meaning growth is reduced.
Low growth, and with high inflation.
Yep, so he's correct. Currently, we are experiencing stagflation to a high degree, where the economic growth is minimal. The crazy part is that retailers like Walmart and Target have a lot of excess inventory. And when that happens, we're in a bad state, right? When the cheap, high-volume stores have too much inventory left, we're not in a good position. Also, part of the current stagflation going on right now is that the interest rates are extremely high, right? 8.9%, 9% month after month, but realistically it's 15 to 16%. And I don't think that anybody that actually knows what they're talking about can argue with the current realistic 16% going on, especially here in Canada and US. And overseas in Europe, for example, it's actually much worse. In Greece, Turkey, it's close to 50-60%. Just before I continue with the video, guys, I just want to ask you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, so this way you guys get notified every single time I upload. Once again, guys, the only thing I ask from you, subscribe to the channel.
And that happens through this monetary situation that I'm describing, in which the central bank tries to deal with a middle course. In other words, what does the central bank want? Not too high inflation and not too low growth. And so when there's a lot of debt, because one man's debts are another man's assets, it becomes very difficult balancing act. And that is when you have stagflation, when you produce it.
And yes, he's very correct with the stagflation going on, which is the major problem. We have to keep in mind that besides the slow economic growth, the high inflation, we also have increasing interest rates, surplus in certain supplies, shortages in other supplies. We still have the war going on with Russia, as well as a lot of tensions over in China. And the pandemic is still happening in waves, right? It's not as strong as it was 2 years ago. People are not as panicked, but it is still happening. There's still shutdowns going on. We're not in the clear for that either. So it's not just one or two things causing us to be in this declining environment. It is all the factors I just mentioned happening at the same time. And since I've been born, I've never experienced anything like this. Truthfully, I don't think something like this has been experienced with such high level. Now, up next, I want us to take a look at somebody else I have a lot of respect in the financial space, and that is Michael Burry. And here, his recent tweets from a couple of days ago, he pretty much agrees with Ray Dalio as well as myself and says we have not hit the bottom, watch for failures, then look for the bottom. 2 SPAC ETFs is not enough fail for it to be the bottom. And here he says crypto crash, check, meme crash, check, SPAC, inflation, and then 2000, 2008, 2022. I agree with Michael Burry very much. He was saying even here on the Dow Jones, for example, and pretty much everything else followed in these footsteps. Here around that June time, we had the bottom, and then we had a bit of a relief rally, and many people were thinking we're out of the woods and we're going to potentially go back to all-time highs. But myself, as well as pretty much all the other major investors, had expressed that we're going to be seeing a new bottom, and I'm going to stand by that. I also believe the exact same thing. This isn't financial advice. This is just to get you guys thinking about furthering your research, making sure that you're feeling confident about whatever decision you want to make. Now, just before I end the video, I want to give you 2 things to look into. And one is index funds. I prefer to recommend them to beginners because you're not investing in a single individual stock. For example, if you invested in a tech index fund, then you're covering all the big ones like Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, Amazon, Meta, right? Instead of just investing in one and God forbid just that one tanks, then you'll be screwed, right? But if as a beginner you invest in an index fund, then you are covered by all the biggest companies in a major sector, and if all of them were to fail, then we have a real big issue overall, which I do not think is going to happen. If you guys are looking into crypto, only one I ever recommend to beginners is Bitcoin. I have many videos illustrating on why. I'm not going to go over the reasons, but go back to the channel. I'm sure you'll find it. And yeah, guys, this is a time for you. If you're serious about investing and making money in the long run, this is a time for you to start thinking about dollar cost averaging and creating your strategy. Now, of course, please make sure you have an emergency fund first and make sure that all the money you're investing right now, you're not going to need for the next 3 to 5 years, right? This is a long-term game. And with that, the video's over. Let me know if you agree with myself. Let me know if you agree with Michael Burry, Ray Dalio, as well as myself, thinking that we have not hit the bottom yet. I'd love to hear your guys' perspective down below. Let me know other similar content you'd like me to do in the financial space. Please subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay diversified.